How's it going, guys and girls? I know some of you watch me. We got another great vinyl video here. I didn't call this thrift store vinyl finds because I bought these records at kind of an antique shop that has a pretty sizable record department in it. And I don't think this is a collector. He stocks his little section and calls it Vinyl Mania. And maybe every week or so I'll go there, and I've pretty much combed through a lot of it, but he has a little section for like new arrivals. So, but this is the compilation of several trips to this antique shop, and what I paid for these albums was anywhere from maybe $4 to $17, and I'll tell you pretty much about what I remember paying for each one of these. But the first one here, remember Flock of Seagulls. I remember when this came out, and I liked a couple of the hits off of it, like Space Age Love Song, and I Ran All the Way, but I never got around to buying it. Well, I finally did buy it, and I think I paid $4 or $5 for this one, so I kind of like that. This was another cool record I always wanted to find. It was a latter period Hollies record, Distant Light, and this copy is in mint condition. I think I paid maybe $7 or $8 for it. My favorite track is Long Dark Road, although it also has Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress, which is probably one of the most overplayed records in rock and roll radio history, which I almost never want to hear. You know, 100 years from now, if I hear that again, it'll be way too soon. I'm sorry. I recently picked this one up there too. Kind of like Bachman Turner Overdrive all through the 70s, my high school years. Got a mint copy of Best of BTO. It's pretty much all the BTO you ever need, I think. This was a very cool find for me, because I knew this guy. He was one of the first replacements of the original Kingston Trio, the folk pop group. He was also a songwriter previous to being in the Kingston Trio, and then later when he left, he went on a solo career. He wrote some big hits for other people. He wrote Daydream Believer for the Monkees. He also worked with a lot of other people. He had a big hit in 1979 with a song called Gold. People out there turning music into gold. He sang that, a duet with Stevie Nicks, I believe. This is a 1975 album by Jon Stewart, and it's called Wingless Angel. It was originally released on RCA, although this is a re-release on Pickwick. I guess Pickwick was one of those companies that would re-release stuff under license from other companies. But this is very cool. I really like this record. Jon Stewart, his singing style, he sounds a lot like Johnny Cash, maybe a little higher tone than Johnny Cash, but that's kind of his style, kind of a folk pop country kind of style there. So I don't think he ever got the recognition that he really deserved of all his years in the business. So, but it's a great record. I love this record. When I was right out of high school, one of the first groups I started collecting was the Rolling Stones, but unfortunately back then the London releases were pretty much all you could get were those really horrible fake stereo, reprocessed stereo versions of their early 60s London records. But I've come across a couple in mono. I came across this one at that antique place, 12 by 5, and it's the you know right away it's the mono because it's in the red label. The only real hit off this one was It's All Over Now. But there's another version of Time Is On My Side. It's not the hit version, it's not the single version. On here it's kind of like an alternate version. It's still pretty good though. This is a great sounding record. I would advise anybody who's looking for Stones records, you know, look for the mono. They are far superior to those electronically reprocessed stereo versions. So very cool find there. It's in pretty good condition. I got this guy. I got a couple of his records. This is I think this was his first record. Lobo. And its first hit was Me and You and a Dog Named Boo, which was kind of a big radio hit, AM radio hit back then, like this record. Now I had a copy of this record when it first came out, and then I stupidly gave it away. Then I found a really beat up copy that I still have. Now I found a better copy. This is like a mint original pressing on Island Records. It's by far my favorite U2 album. It's the War album, and it's the original release on Island, the original label. Sounds fantastic. I love almost every track on this record. This was kind of an obscure group. They had kind of a minor, well, maybe I better not say minor because someone will disagree with me or something. This was a band called Fever Tree. And if you know anything about these guys, they kind of sound like that garage psych, kind of like moody blues at the same time, kind of mushed together. Their big, kind of like their hit was a song called San Francisco Girls. You might have remembered that from that time. This is never had a live record from these guys, but I found a copy of Live Cream, and I played it through once, and I mean it's pretty good, I guess, but it sounds kind of uneven, but I still like it. I already had a copy of this, but I wanted a cleaner one. I found a copy of Elton John, Anki Chateau. This is one of the original, I think, releases. It has the jacket with the kind of locking tongue thing in there. Now this next record, I had seen this record through the years, but I never bought it, and I kind of wish I hadn't. I was really disappointed. You know, sometimes a big name group from the 60s, the original members, they go apart and then they get back together, and you think, oh, they're going to make a record that's going to be as good as their original sound, but this one wasn't. This was the Hollies, What Comes Around, and when I haven't even played the whole thing, I first put it on and it's like, what is this, some kind of 80s, you know, bad workout kind of music, you know, with the synthesizers and all that, so not what I was hoping for. This is a record that I've had and then I stupidly got rid of. It's my second favorite album by this group, and it's Led Zeppelin 2. It's in near mint condition. I paid like $13, $14 for this record, but I'm really glad I got it back. The record I'm by far really looking for now of Led Zeppelin is Led Zeppelin 3. That is by far my favorite Led Zeppelin record, but this is excellent. I love Led Zeppelin. This is a great live, early live record by the Beach Boys, and I've always wondered why Brian Wilson recorded most of his stuff with session musicians, because I play this record, and of course not only is the singing super great like on the studio albums, but they're playing. They're a very tight band on stage. This was a great live record by them. Another group I used to have all their records and I refound. I got the Pretenders. I think I showed this in another video. Pretenders 2. I love that. I love their sound. And then this one, most of the members had OD'd on drugs or something. I mean, Chrissie Hynde had to have a different group almost with every album after this. This was Pretending to Crawl. I remember buying this when it first came out. Another group another band record I used to have and I refound at this antique place was ZZ Top. Duguelo. This is a great record. Another kind of a 60s guy. I really liked, he had singles in all through the 60s, especially like the late 60s and early 70s. This is a compilation of Tommy Roe. And it's got like Jam Up and Jelly Tight, I remember that on the radio. Dizzy, Hooray for Hazel. One I never heard of, I guess was a big hit in England for Tommy Roe, was one called The Folk Singer, because he jumped on the whole folk thing there. But I like this record too. Another record I refound that I really used to like was Wild Planet. I think this was their second record, B-52s. And another live album. I never had this record before, and I was kind of disappointed with it. I've only played it once through. It's Rolling Stones Got Live If You Want It. And they just sound very, you know, not all like their records. They just sound like they're, you know, pretty sloppy on stage there. Another record I bought, and I still have the price sticker on this one. I had this one when it first came out. I've seen this band in concert back in '79. Put on a great show. This was Molly Hatchet, Flirtin' with Disaster. Great record. I paid $6 for this one. And I'm pretty much collecting everything by Petula Clark at this time. I found like a mint condition one of this one, My Love. And the big hit off this one was Sign of the Times. So that's a great find. Now this last record, I knew about this guy, and he was the first artist that the Beatles signed to Apple Records, and the Beatles had known this guy back from their Hamburg days, playing their clubs in Hamburg, Germany. This guy also had a group touring at the time, but the guy's name was Jackie Lomax, and I paid about $12.50 for this record. This is in mint condition. George Harrison had produced this record. Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and Eric Clapton also played on this record. It's kind of interesting. The music, the arrangements sound a lot like what the Beatles were recording, say from like '68 to '70. I think it was probably recorded in their same studio, their Apple studio, whatever. I've only played it once through. I kind of like it right now. Maybe it'll grow on me a little more as I play it. So I hope you enjoyed those finds, and I hope you tune in again real soon. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.